Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. And legit, where's eye makeup? Anyways, let's get started. So this is the Hype 6S low KV quads. Now this is my first official test. I've already built two, but this is the first official test of a pre-built one that's going for 300 bucks. It's called the Everwing something, I forgot. Doesn't matter. So this is by Flycolor. So some of the things here are OEM rebranded by Flycolor. Flycolor is a company that has been in the ESC business for a while. Before multi-rotors, as I believe, they were doing stuff for RC boats, they were doing stuff for RC motors, RC cars, and they were doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So they do have a nice, I believe they are the correct manufacturer, and they do have a lot of experience in this field. And I've tested some of their components. Average to above average, very usable, and I've actually replaced some of my flight quads with some of those ESCs. We'll get into that later on when I have more time. Now it's summer, I can fly them, I could show you. Anyways, let's get started. So let's start with the motors. They're using Everwing Flycolor motors. These are 2306 motors, 1800 kV if I remember correctly. Yes, 1800 kV. They're using 50 amp ESCs, rated up to a 6S. And the RBL Heli 32, and there's no telemetry activated. I forgot if they have a telemetry pad, but we'll get into that later on. It's not really an important thing. Now the most important thing is how did it fly? Now what I've done here is I went and I took my best ultimate freestyle quadcopter that I love the most, which is my Froglight DAL RC engine F40, the new F40 motors, the 2600 kV with a Hakcrc V2 flight controller, not the all-in-one. Flight controller, because they were using a 4-in-1 ESC. It just has a basic run cam and a basic Eishin TX526 because it's cheap. I love it and it works perfect. Enough about that. So this guy, he comes with quite a bit. Comes with two sets of props. They are gem fans, and they're pretty good props. So they're giving you name brand props here. They do have a CCD camera going for them and a VTX, which acts very weird. And I believe the antenna is a piece of crap, just out of the start. Now, the thing with this, there was a couple strange things before we get into the flight and some of the things that I had to deal with. I flew it on a 4S and I flew it on a 6S. And I put a couple packs in, not many packs. But what I could tell you is this thing when you put a 6S, you're going to need a lot of tuning because the motors basically almost burn themselves because the D is so high. So there's a new type of way you're gonna have to add filters, or you're gonna have to tune it. I didn't have enough time, but we'll get into that later. Now, as a pre-packaged, pre-built quad to someone new into this hobby, this one is gonna be a little tricky one for you. Now, let's just get into a little bit more of its specs here. Alright guys, so this is using an F4 flight controller with OSD, and I believe it's some type of all-in-one flight controller because I don't see a PDB on board. Now they do have this VTX. It's either the VTX that was acting weird or it was the FPV antenna, because there were some things which I didn't like. For example, you know, when you turn on your transmitter, everything has to be in the correct position. So for me, my correct position for the air mode is angle mode. Just in case I sneezed, I pop it into angle mode, push the throttle, make sure it's up in the sky somewhere until I recover from my sneezing, or if there's a bee about to bite me, or a fly went down my pants. That's just something, that's what I do. Now, when I boot it up and then I go ahead and switch the mode level for some reason, from stable mode to air mode, which is acro mode, I lose video feed. So what I have to do is unplug it and replug it, keep my position switch into air mode. That was one thing I didn't like. The VTX was very unpredictable. Not too unpredictable, but I wouldn't fly it far for my liking. You could kind of notice in my flight footage in a little bit that there was times where I'm just like, I didn't know what the hell I'm doing. It's because I couldn't see what the hell I was doing, you know? It's not even a full size soccer field. It's like a 75% size of a soccer field. So when I got to all the way to the other corner of it, I really started to have bad breakup. But I didn't replace the antenna. I didn't do anything. I left it default as anybody would do. And I used the default props. I used everything default. I didn't even change the channel. Nothing. I just changed my rates, bound it, and took it out for a flight. Now, 4S. Flying an 1800 kV motor on a 4S is pretty weird. It flies good, flies smooth. It's pretty slow. It's actually slower than a 2205 Racer Star motor running 2300 kV, but it was totally manageable and actually pretty relaxing, if you might say. But there's something that really happens once you drop down from 16 volts up to 15 volts. It feels like it's dead, but it's not really dead, so you have to stay to the 70 to 800% throttle to kind of keep it up. So I was trying to do a long flight time range testing, but my brain still hadn't adapted to it, and I'd end up crashing because I didn't give enough throttle. So that's something, it's really weird. I can't explain it. If you ever fly it, you'll know what I mean, especially on 5-inch props. So, you know the battery's still good, but you just feel it losing power. The voltage drops. So that's something to take note of. And if you're stuck in a hairy position at 16 volts, at 15 volts, once you dropped a couple volts down and you needed to power through something, that's not going to be there. So you're going to run into that branch, you're going to get caught in that wall, you're not going to escape it. So you have to take that into consideration when you're flying it. Now on a 4S it flew good. I didn't test it on a 5S, but I did test it on a 6S. I put the 6S, shitting balls hoping that it will not catch on fire. I put the 6S, everything is fine, VTX is totally cool, everything is good. The VTX runs better on a 6S. I need to test it because I think I saw, what's his name? The other day I quickly saw what's his name, Andy RC's video talking about the power output it's putting when you're putting a 6S, but I really don't remember, but he said something about it, so I kept that in mind as a note, something to take note of if I run into any issues. But I did kind of see the video quality. This is the first time in my life where a camera I could really tell the video quality isn't good, which is pretty weird because usually I just buy those Chinese $20 600 TV line cameras. It felt weird. It felt oversaturated with these black dots sometimes. I don't know if it's from the VTX and I don't know if it's from the camera. Flight characteristics, hard to really tell, to be honest. I think if it had a proper, just a regular 4S quadcopter, I think it would be very nice. But this seems like a cruising one more than anything. When I put that first 6S, this is my first time ever flying a low KV 6S. It was, the instant power was just crazy. It was like I really got scared. I didn't get scared. I was just like, whoa, I wasn't ready for it. But that quickly dies out as the voltage drops. And the voltage drop is very strange. It's not like when you're losing power in your 4S LiPo. It's like, it's dramatic. It's really dramatic. Yeah, when your voltage drops, it's really, really, really dramatic. Now, on a 6S, the motors came down burning hot. I lowered the D value by 5 points each. It helped a little, but I still had that mid-throttle oscillation. Now, I do believe, I don't remember seeing FPV video noise in the flight footage, which is a good thing if I don't remember. That means it wasn't very noticeable if there was any at all. But the thing is, I think you might need a low ASR capacitor because I lowered the D and it's the mid-throttle oscillation is still there. Now, mid-throttle oscillation usually is due to noise from the ESC because they tend to generate the most amount of noise. So yeah, the ESCs tend to create the most amount of noise between, let's just say, 60-90% throttle. That is where you see that mid-throttle oscillation that sometimes can't be tuned out. That's due to high noise coming from the ESCs because that's where they run really nasty. Now, maybe there's some specific settings we could play with and that I want to try to get to because usually we end up flying anywhere between 50 and 80 to 90. It's rarely we hit that 100. I mean, I'm not talking about racing. I'm talking about just freestyle, having fun. The guy that's just going to go out on the weekend, go fly over the lake, blah, 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 blah. My type of flying. Now, when you hit that full throttle, it still also oscillates. So I really do believe there's quite a bit of noise in the system. So this is going to be one of those ones that we're going to take apart and stick on my new stand where we can actually test every single component at the same time with a battery and just listen to everything with the oscilloscope. Now, currently, I'm halfway done with the design. I just have a lot of videos to get out of real quick. I want to try to make as many videos out so I can have time to do that And I'm looking for assistance, to be honest, for the website and the graphing and stuff. And obviously I give you something in return for your time and effort. So yeah, I'll be looking for some people. I'll have a video about that later on, looking for help, because I can't keep up with everything, to be honest. It's way too much. But anyways, I'm doing my best here. So let's get back to this guy. So 6S, it has an amazing power, like it's just instant power, but it's nothing super crazy. And don't again, this is just the first one I've ever tested. So far my first impressions weren't so great, but they're not so great because if it flew perfect, then I would tell you I would have a pretty decent first impression. But it just needs a little bit of work to get it really running on that 6S. So Everwing or Flycolor really didn't take the time into actually tuning it for a 6S, and which is a very bad shame. Now there's also something very important that happened. I think while I was flying one of my 6S lipos, one cell died, and I was basically flying on a 5S. Now on a 5S it flew pretty damn nice, but not, nothing nicer than a 4S would fly. A 4S feels more stable. It's been more refined. This is my opinion only. So this is what I think. However, I do have more builds that we're gonna go ahead and fix up and see if we could find that golden point. Because I used 1000 milliamp 6S lipos from a Shishu or whatever the hell it's called, those green ones. And overall, I can't really recommend it to a beginner. That's just my honest opinion. It needs some work. I didn't have much time to put a lot of work into it. 4S, it flew nice, I can tell you that for sure. 5S, I think I'm gonna double check that battery. If one of the cells did die, 5S it'll fly pretty damn good. But it's still, to be honest, this on a 5S versus this, there's a $70 difference, plus the batteries will be cheaper for this guy than this guy. In my honest opinion, this outflew that so far. Now this is just early stages. I could be totally wrong. Let me tune it out. Let me add a low ASR capacitor. Let me fix that mid throttle oscillations, get a good idea, maybe even talk to Flycolor. I do have a contact in Flycolor. I could talk with them, see, maybe they'll do some modifications, release a V2, send it to me, help them test it. It could make it better. And but overall, out of the box, this is what I'm saying. Out of the box, it's not really beginner friendly, and you're gonna put some time into it. However, push this to the side, grab this guy, stick him in, bind him, go fly. Change your rates if you need changing rates. Go fly. Took a beating. I haven't put much time into it, but I freaking loved it because I flew all these three together with my ultimate freestyle build here, which is a Dal RC engine, F6, F40 motors, brand new, with a Hakcrc V2 flight controller. So this one is just a massive torque beast house right here. It's a frog-light frame. So this is the kind of comparison I was doing. I was doing the best of the best. This competed with it, which was an absolute surprise to me, and I was very happy. And don't forget, this is the V2, not the V1. As you can tell, they've done some modifications here, and I didn't notice any latency, which I really like. I still want to put that first V1 together and see if I got the same results, and how we could improve upon it. This one, overall build quality is very nice. The ESCs are very good. The motors seem to be very good. They handled the heat very well, actually. The antenna is a piece of crap so far. The VTX acts weird. I need to figure out why it acts weird. On a 4S, it acts really strange. Like, really strange. And sometimes you get these black things in your feed. The camera quality, I can't tell if it's either from the camera or from the VTX. But it's just, it's also kind of weird. If that's a word. I don't even know if I think I forgot to record the SD card on this. I'll double check right now. But overall, I did have a ton load of oscillations, and I'll leave you guys with the footage. It's not going to be some music footage with this, as I believe. I'm just going to do like maybe 2 4S flights, and then I did a total of 3 6S flights. I think the last 2 where I dropped the D gain by 5 points each to kind of minimize the oscillation. It made the motors work a little cooler, but overall you know, I'm not used to this low kV. It feels kind of strange when you fly, especially when the voltage, it's not a voltage sag. It's, you know, when you use your battery and, you know, the voltage drops, not dramatically, but it drops, you know, from 16.8 to 16 to between 16 to 15 volts. It just, you know, the whole throttle range kind of changes, and it really does throw you off, and you just end up in the ground. Like, I would do a flip, oh, I have enough time, I push it, next thing you know, I don't have enough time, I'm already on the floor. So that's something to take note of. It could be a beast. Some of the components here are very good, but it does need work. That's what I'm trying to say. This one really does need some work done to it. It needs some tuning. The GoPro mounting solution is pretty good. It's still a little loose. I did have some vibrations, but most of the oscillations from this was from the quad itself, because I could see them through my FPV video feed. And the build quality is nice. I can't complain. Noise, I don't remember seeing noise like I mentioned, which is very good. And these ESCs were pretty good. And that's really it. That's going to conclude it for this one. So far, it needs updates, to be honest, to give a final verdict. But this is my first experience and first use of it, and I think it might be useful to some people out there. And I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it, learned something, was useful to someone. And if you're on a budget, I shit you not, I believe you not, go grab the V2 of these. Make sure you ask Bango before you buy it. Say, is this the V2 with the capacitors? And if he says yes, go grab it, because holy crap, this thing was really good. And this one, yeah. Right now, to be honest, if I knew how both of these fly, I would just buy this one. Okay, I know it's a new hype 6S, but to be honest, still from this first experience, it doesn't look so promising. However, I have those other two builds and another build, and I'm going to make a 5-inch build that's 6S capable. And then we're going to see and double check everything. But currently, at the current moment of time, this is new territory. It needs a bit more, I think the filtration needs to be a little bit different because of that. It gets massive voltage spikes. When you're talking about 6S LiPos, that's like double the voltage spikes sometimes into the hardware. So soon on a 6S build, we're probably going to be just flying big capacitors. So we can fly them pretty decent. But I'm just kidding. I'm not hating on it. It flew nice on I think it flew nice on a 5S if the cell died on the 6S over there. But I think I've been talking for too long. Overall, I can't really recommend it just yet until I tune it out. But I can tell you, for a beginner, and you're gonna put a 6S on there, you're gonna most probably burn out your motors, especially if you fly like 6 packs in a row without just leaving the oscillation there. You're guaranteed to burn your motor out because they were smoking hot. Like, if I put a cigarette next to it, it would have lit my cigarette on. And I constantly just kept smelling them. I didn't get a smell, so I was very happy. But yes, that's something very important to take note of. And like I said, I think I've been rambling for too long. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please consider joining my Patreon. Help support this mission. Let's keep this mission going. And go ahead, check out my Android application and my iOS and website. The link down below, where I do awesome deals. I'm getting awesome stuff for absolutely cheap from GearBest, Banggood, and Maytech, and Hobbywing, Hollybro. And I'm working on some motor manufacturer. And the more traffic we generate, the more bigger companies I could get, and to get some very nice deals like sale countdowns. And it's going to be pretty awesome. I've already done a couple, and there's also a couple left, so don't miss out. Make sure you sign up to the newsletter and download the application for notifications. And for example, yesterday, Banggood just had a sale to sell the Diatone GT200 2018. It's $220, $230. They had a special sale for $184, but you had to use a special coupon. I quickly released the push notification to everybody so they don't miss out if they were looking for it, because that's a below $200 a proper flying beast, to be honest. And well, that's it, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Please consider joining my Patreon. Really support the channel. I do awesome giveaways. I do give away micros, some of these quads sometimes, because they're just going to sit here and collect dust after a while. Now I'm going to be flying and testing more and doing more feedback, even possibly pit tuning and stuff. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Now we'll see you next time. See you guys. Take care. And don't forget Patreon. See you guys.